something to the effect of a number, the number 8, multiplied by x is equal to negative 736. What you are saying is 8 times what number will give me that value of negative 736. So when you are, and I know this seems elementary, missing a factor, remember two numbers being multiplied by one another to produce a product are called factors. When you're missing a factor, divide by the one you know. Okay, 8 is the factor we know. So if I divide both pieces by 8, a negative divided by a positive, I know that's a little bit of a rule that some of us struggle with from time to time, so be on the lookout for that yourselves. Divide by the 8 and tell me what you come up with. What kind of 92? Negative. Negative. All right. Very good. And if you checked, I'm on the wrong side. If you checked yourself, I'm trying to fix this, keep it from wobbling at you guys. If you tried to fix it, or check it, you would find that by multiplying 8 by what we suspect x to be, you can uncover that product to be negative 736, thus verifying for yourselves that this check confirms that truth. Oh, lovely lad. May I please have one? Thank you very much. Cough drops are our friend. All right. The blue ones are starting to make me sick. I'll never eat them for a week. Cough drops. Example 2. It might also, in a multiplication problem, look like this. 6 is equal to 1/5 multiplied by r. So we are missing whatever r represents. So we are going to divide by the known factor, which is 1/5. Okay, so same thing as above. Missing factor, divide by the one we know. Which presents a bit of a challenge for us because we know that dividing with fractions requires us to do something slightly different. Anybody remember what that something slightly different is? Multiplied by what, my dear? Rhymes with it or ol. Anybody want to help her? Reciprocal. Very good. 5/1 is the reciprocal of 1/5. And I'll review that here in just a second. So 1/5 multiplied by r, multiplied by 5/1. The 5's cancel one another, leaving me with r being equal to the value 30. Okay? So, a reciprocal. Or reciprocals are numbers whose, and just, I know you guys think this is repetitive, but product equals 1. So, to divide, we often multiply by the number we want to divide's reciprocal. Okay? So, like, take this one, 1/4 x equals 15. We cannot divide by 1/4. So we multiply by its reciprocal, which is 4. Okay, I just kind of gave you another example. 4/1, 4/1. The 1/4 and the 4 cancels out, leaving us a value of x and 60. Okay. So there's just a little reminder on what reciprocals are. We're going to move on to example 3, just a couple more things to do, guys, and we're almost done. Example 3, we're going to move away from solving a multiplication problem into solving a division problem, such as t divided by 2 is equal to a -5. When dividing and missing a dividend, as in we don't know what the t value is, that's the one we're missing, multiply both sides by the divisor. Okay. Dividend is t, divisor is 2, quotient is -5. So what are we going to multiply both sides by? We're going to multiply both sides by the divisor. Which one of these body parts is the divisor? Good. So on the right it might look like this. And on the left it might, well, let's make that into a multiplication. Look like that. The 2's cancel each other out, leaving me with t being equal to that product, -10. To check yourself, you can plug in the -10 where the t was, cut it in half to verify that your answer is a -5, and since it is, you know you are correct. One more item I want to share with you from this group is when it looks just a little bit jangled up. So I've got 2/3 being multiplied by s equaling 4 1/3. This is very, very similar to your example 2, okay? The thing that makes this one different is that this component is a mixed number. Makes it feel a little bit tougher, adds a little bit of work, but not much. So first, make mixed number into a improper fraction. 4 times 3 is 12 plus 1 is 13. So 13/3, am I right? So now I have that. Going back to the example 2 directions. Can't divide, but we can multiply by the reciprocal of the known product. Multiply by reciprocal of the known factor, of the known factor. The reciprocal of the known factor, which is 2/3, is 3/2. S is what's left on the left. 13 over 2 is what is left on the right. Which, by the way, is the same thing as saying 6 1/2, right? Just so you know, in the back of your textbook, when you check odds, more often than not, you'll see this. You're going to stop seeing mixed numbers because mixed numbers are not user-friendly. When it comes to performing calculations, you generally have to go back to improper fractions anyway. Okay? So in the real world, you would tell me there are 6 1/2 pies, right? If I were to ask you like a real world application. But in this type of a situation, using that number, well, this number wasn't very friendly, so we had to convert it. So when you see answers, if they give you 13 halves and you have 6 1/2, it doesn't mean you're wrong. It just means you made it into a mixed number. In the same way, if they give you 13 halves, or if you give 13 halves and the book says convert it to a mixed number, then you will see this in the back of the book. Okay? But I'm just going to kind of put a blanket statement out there. For the most part, from here on out, you will not see much of this anymore. Unless it's a word problem. You know, you would, again, tell me about pies, you'd tell me that. Okay, word problems generally use real-world application numbers. Things that are normally used.